So Valentine's Day is coming up. Maybe you've already made some plans. You've got a card, you've got the flowers, you've made dinner reservations, but now you have to pick out the wine. So I'm going to help you out with that today. Since it's Valentine's Day, we might as well start out with some bubbles. I'm thinking champagne fits the occasion. Bernard is going to be a producer I highly recommend, but I was thinking since it's Valentine's Day, let's be thematic and do a rosé champagne. And Biacart is going to be the producer I recommend. Super famous rosé champagne. If you want to upgrade, you can even go to the vintage champagne. They've got the 2015 on the shelf today. Nice and thematic with the pink wine, and champagne really fits the occasion. So let's say you want to start with bubbles, but you're on a little bit more of a budget this year. Go with Cremant. Cremant is a great category of sparkling wine. It's found throughout the French regions. It's held to the same standard as champagne. It's actually made in the same method, but it comes from other regions, so you pay a lot less. And as you can see, easy enough to find a rosé Cremant as well if you want to be thematic this year. So I'm sure a lot of you are going to be eating chocolate with your Valentine's Day, maybe for dessert, maybe you got a box of chocolates for your significant other. Let's do some red wines to pair with that. Cabernet is super classic. Paul Hobbs is going to be one of my favorite producers for American Cabernet. If you want to save money, just head right next door. His Cross Barn label is less than half the price. It's still phenomenal wine. Cabernet is so good with chocolate. It has the structure, kind of has a chocolatey flavor on its own. It's a wonderful pairing. Another style I love with anything chocolate, including for dessert, is going to be Lambrusco. That's an Italian style of red sparkling wine. Really excellent, really savory. One I like a lot is Cletto Chiarli, their Vecchia Modena. This is actually the rosé bottling. They make a regular sparkling red as well. These are great with chocolate cake, box of chocolates, anything like that. So let's do some specific wine pairings for specific cuisines. Let's say you're going to the steakhouse, you're doing something off the grill. I'm going to stick with French wine for that pairing. I'm going to say Saint Estèphe is going to be one of my top favorite regions for French Bordeaux blends. Consistently high quality, a lot of Cabernet, a lot of Merlot in the blend. I like them a lot. If you want to be a little bit more on a budget this year, Haute Médoc, also left bank of the Bordeaux, Cabernet heavy, way cheaper, often about half the price of Saint Estèphe. So if you're doing grilled meats or a steakhouse and you prefer white wine, it's a little bit tougher of a pairing, but it can work. I'm going to say stick with Burgundy and Meursault. These Chardonnays really have the body and sort of the depth to stand up to grilled meat. So it's a white wine that has kind of the sturdiness and the muscle of a red. The only issue is they're pretty expensive. So if you want a similar wine, but a lot less money, Macon Village, this is South Burgundy. The wines are a little bit richer, a little bit riper, but you can find these under $20 very easily in most stores. So let's say you're going out for Italian cuisine. Maybe you plan to order something heavy like ossobuco, more meat-based, or maybe you just like really full-bodied wine. The region I'm going to tell you to look for is going to be Bulgari. This is in Tuscany. This is the region that puts super Tuscan wines on the map. They're Bordeaux-style blends, kind of like Cabernet and Merlot-based often, very rich and powerful. They'll stand up to the heavier foods. If you need a more value-based region for a super Tuscan, just look for a Toscana. Toscana is going to be what you see on the label. That's a super Tuscan. They're going to come in at the same region, but at way lower price points. My white wine pairing for the heavier Italian food, and again, we're thinking like Brujol, Ossobuco, something like that. You're going to need a big sturdy white wine. I'm definitely thinking Etna Bianco. These are going to be white blends, often Catarratto and Caricante from Mount Etna. They have the body of something like a Chardonnay, but a lot more acidity, and that's going to help cut through the fat of your grilled meat. Let's say you're thinking a little bit more of a standard red sauce entree, something like gnocchi, spaghetti, and meatballs. Sangiovese is going to be the classic pairing for that cuisine, and you're going to look for the Chianti Classico region. Super easy to find, always Sangiovese based. Easiest way to look for these is look for the Black Rooster. They're either going to be on the back of the label or along the top of the capsule. So my white wine pairing for a red sauce-based Italian meal is going to be whites from Lugana. These are actually going to be made with a grape called Turbiana. They have enough acid to stand up to the red sauce, which is what you want for that cuisine, as well as a lot of aromatics and a lot of complexity. So let's say you're going out for seafood, maybe a sushi dinner for Valentine's Day. Let's say you want to do a red wine pairing. It's tough, but it can be done. I'm going to recommend Pinot Noir, specifically from Burgundy or Bourgogne, the French pronunciation. These are light, so they won't overwhelm the seafood. And I recommend Burgundy over California or America because they're going to be less oaky and lighter in body. So by far my favorite seafood pairing, especially for a sushi dinner, is going to be Sancerre, 100% Sauvignon Blanc from the Loire Valley in France. One of the most famous French wine regions overall, so it's very easy to find in any wine store. We're talking about $25 to $40 average price, so not breaking the bank, not super cheap. Most people tend to love this style, so I think it's a really safe pairing overall. So if you're having a great meal this Valentine's Day, let me know if you tried out any of my pairings. Did they work out great? What was your favorite? Let me know in the comments.